23 was a hot year for stocks. The S&P 500 was up 24%. So how's your portfolio looking? Bet it's not looking as good as members of Congress. Let's take a look back at 2023's best performing stock pickers in Congress. And then we have Republican Congressman Dan Crenshaw, who beat the market by 13 points.
Last night, Jesse Waters did a brief segment on congressional stock trading and called out several lawmakers by name, including a Republican lawmaker, Representative Dan Crenshaw. Now, to say that Crenshaw melted down in response is putting it very, very lightly. We'll get to his genuinely unhinged reaction in just a moment, but first, let's watch more of what Waters had to say, what his coverage included, and how he provided details. And I commend him for this. He provided details of this recent report by Unusual Whales.
Overall, Democrats outperformed Republicans by about 13 points. Our lawmakers made over $1 billion in financial transactions this year. A lot of them investing in companies that they had inside information on. Ladies and gentlemen, this is what corruption looks like.
So apparently Crenshaw was super bothered by the fact that he's getting called out by Waters. And he didn't actually call Crenshaw out by name. He just showed the graph that includes Crenshaw's name on it. And he engaged in this insane, insulting tirade against the Fox News host. And well, let's just give you the example. So he put out a series of Instagram stories, 5 to be exact, starting with this one. A lot of curse words that I have to kind of bleep out here. Hey, you effing hack, if you're gonna accuse me of literal corruption, get your facts straight and man up and come accuse me to my face. You're a effing clown, desperate for clickbait. And then he continues to say, I literally have $10,000 invested in stocks and haven't made trades in over a year. I have never had more than $20,000 invested while in Congress. Fox knows this, but they're desperate for fake controversy to get clicks. Waters is a tool, making millions to push conspiracies on TV and bash veterans like me who are barely a fraction of his net worth. Wake up, America. The political entertainment industry is almost always lying to you. He also posted this. This is the list that Waters is using. I'm pretty far down on it. Why choose me? Because he's an effing clown chasing clicks. He knows people will recognize me. And Dan, don't flatter yourself. Don't flatter yourself, Dan. Come on. He's like, I've got a lot of name recognition. And he's specifically singling me out because it's gonna get more attention. John, what are your thoughts?
I mean, look, I can't say with 100% confidence, but I think he kind of has a point because I didn't even see that amongst his story. And when you were playing the video and they were showing the graphics, I looked at it and I was like, I read the report. I don't remember that listing of names. And so I've looked through it again. That is not taken directly from the report. He was selectively removing names so that those would be there. Dan Crenshaw's name, if you were going from the top, would not appear in a graphic like that. Jesse Waters and his team specifically removed other people's names so Dan Crenshaw's would appear on the list.
Wow, John Idarola with the investigative reporting. That is amazing.
Very mild, but.
No, that's impressive. I'm glad that you double checked. Wow. Okay, well then, before we get to the rest of Crenshaw's rant, which I guess to some extent is justified. I mean, look, I don't pay close attention to Jesse Waters. Even when Jesse Waters says controversial things and people urge me to cover it on the show, I find Jesse Waters so boring and so obviously intentionally inflammatory for attention that I just ignore him. So I don't know what possible conflict he has with Crenshaw. Do you know anything about it?
I mean, look, I think Dan Crenshaw has been, fighting with a lot of people in this sort of MAGA-y, Trump-y world for quite some time. I don't know how deep the conflict goes, but I feel like this is something that's been brewing for more than a year.
You know what? I will allow it. It's fun. I mean, it's rare. I mean, it's not that rare these days, but for the longest time, it just felt like conservatives were united. Even if there were slight differences among them, they seemed to provide cover for each other. And I was a little jealous of that because we could use at least a little of that on the left. But I mean, I don't really understand what their beef is, what's at the heart of their beef. But I want to give you a few more of his social media posts, Dan Crenshaw's that is. He says, I'm sitting here trying to feed my 3-month-old and this dirtbag millionaire at Fox is accusing me of being a criminal with zero evidence. Stop watching these mediocre entertainers. You know, I agree with him on that. Stop letting wealthy elitists like Jesse Waters claim to be fighting for you. They live in Manhattan and can't stand normal people in red states. They think you're stupid and feed you BS to rile you up. A lot of things I agree with there. Losers like Waters grew up with a silver spoon. His family is made up of well-connected journalists and politicians. And for some reason, people are fooled into believing he's some genuine blue-collar conservative. Yeah, he's such a conservative, he cheated on his wife and then left her with twins while he went off with another Fox producer. And let's be honest, Jesse Waters seems like the type of dude who pees sitting down.
Okay, that last one aside, Anna, where's the lie?
I mean, is there anything wrong with dudes peeing while they sit down? Like they don't get that nasty splash all over the toilet seat. Shouldn't we?
Theoretically, there are other ways to not get that splash, I suppose, with a little bit of skill and discipline and focus, mental acuity. No, everything that he said is right, not just about Jesse Waters, but about virtually every one of these right-wing pundits, especially on Fox News, but the independent right-wingers as well. Every one of them thinks that they're smarter than the dumb hicks that they're conning with their content. They wouldn't want to spend a single moment alone with any of the people that they condescend to. The vast majority of them are incredibly wealthy and choose to live, as basically every Fox host does, in East Coast big cities, mainly New York. I mean, even Sean Hannity today was like, I'm moving to Florida. As if he's like giving up on New York. No, he just owns houses in like 7 different states. And so now he's calling the Florida one his home, but he still has a pricey house in New York City. It's all a grift, it's all fake. And this segment in particular is fake. So like he's using this, Jesse Waters, as a way to say, I critique corruption. Okay, so what do you want to do? Do you want to ban individual stock purchasing and ownership amongst members of Congress?
Yeah,
because we've been calling for that. Is he doing that? You can, by the way, if you want to be like you're the big warrior on corruption, you can go way further than that. Hell, make it so they can't own the mutual funds and the ETFs and all of that stuff. Make it so that for 20 years after they leave office, they can't get hired as lobbyists. Make it so that they can't take campaign donations from wealthy individuals and corporations.
Yes.
Cut their salaries. You can go way beyond that. No paid speeches. No big deals and advances on books. No paid podcasts. No Cameo. If we really wanted to make sure that the people who go into office are there for our interests, not their financial interests, you could go way further than Jesse Waters is, and you could do that because he doesn't actually give a damn about this. He just cosplays as a populist an hour a night on Fox News.
Look, that definitely may be true. And I think Fox News and conservatives in general lately have engaged in the faux economic populism that drives me crazy because they, typically never want to help ordinary American workers when push comes to shove and love deregulation and tax cuts for the very corporations they're pretending to want to rein in. But with that said, I do want to note that simply covering the story on an outlet like Fox is important because now you have conservatives, you have people like Marjorie Greene, like in denial about their stock trading activity. And it informs the public about what's going on. And whether you're a Democrat or Republican, it doesn't really matter. American voters find this incredibly disgusting and distasteful and corrupt. And so just drawing attention to it alone, I think deserves some props, John. And I hate that I've been put in a position to give Jesse Waters of all people any props at all. But the more attention that reports like the one that Unusual Whales puts out gets, the better. And I hope that these politicians feel increasingly uncomfortable about their stock behavior. And in fact, there's already some evidence to prove that. The latest report by Unusual Whales indicates that their stock trading activity slows down as they approach an election year, because they realize that Americans are paying attention. These reports are incredibly important. So we're gonna keep covering them. And even if the other media figures covering these stories are individuals I can't stand, I will give them props for covering it because I think it's important to do so.
Hey, thanks for watching that video. We really appreciate it, guys. And we appreciate it if you become members because that allows us to be independent, honest, progressive, all the things that you don't get from corporate media. And all of that is because of you guys. Hit the join button below and become one of us. Become a Young Turk.
My way onto this frequency.
This better be critical, Wheelie.
Sir, come on, what is it not, please? Okay, couple of things. I'm running low on the dough. I was thinking about taking a couple of months sick leave, maybe starting today. And oh yeah, I intercepted a transmission from Megatron.
Then send it through.
Yes, sir, right away, sir. And so I was so dang weird, going on the other stuff.
This is your last warning, insects. Relinquish what remains of the Allspark.
So who's the insect? You? What? Who's the insect?
Protect you. They were defeated on our world, and we will defeat them here.
Megatron.
This was just a diversion. Security, please bring up. Rabbit, she's already inside. Deeds! Give me an update on that reserve. What's readiness? What was his name? What was it?
Evac, sir.
Right, evac.
She's right in front.
We're facing a heavy sustained attack. They appear to be after the Allspark. General! General! Need to evac immediately, General. Evac immediately. Hold on. National security advisory.